Awesome. Well, glad to see some familiar faces and everybody in here. It's awesome.
I know it's the OG Hedgie group.
It's good. It's good. The idea will be to grow it over time and then get more people in here every week and then we'll talk about hedgies. But yeah, in terms of some news items, I think what we're gonna start doing starting next week is start to hand out some pull-ups for people joining us on the weekly huddle. Just as a bit of an incentive for everybody to attend and hang out and talk about hedgies. And I just want to shout out to Mirage because he has volunteered to provide some of the artwork for the pull-ups as well.
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea. Thanks, Alucard.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I'll start putting some designs together, and then hopefully by next week we can reward the people that are joining us.
I'm excited to see what you come up with. It's going to be pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm. And also on that topic, I put this in the Hedgies chat or the Hedgies holders chat. We could also do sound bites, some maybe highlights of our talks or a quick alpha that we could share to socials after the talks are done, because it's good that James, thanks for sharing the recorded talk from last week as a whole. I listened to it completely. It'd be nice to just share some of the highlights and give people a quick rundown of what happened, what the news items are in the Hedgie world.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great idea, and I really like the kind of like voice Hedgie thing that you put on the Discord yesterday or this morning, depending on time. It looks awesome, and I think using that as kind of like the brand, and then we start pushing out short little snippets and highlights through to social would be a great idea.
Yeah, thanks, man. And it's also, I made it all in Blender the other day. It's really easy to customize. You just upload a new audio file, and takes a couple minutes, and it'll update automatically based on that. So something quick and easy that I think can really help grow engagement and Hedgie awareness.
Absolutely. No, that's an awesome idea. I really appreciate kind of the effort that you're putting in there. Like how I know you've applied for a grant there, and hopefully we'll hear back soon from that. But I think the whole like narrative that you're putting together with the Hedgies with Alucard is going to be really important going forward, and excited to see you two both work and come up with plans on how we can really build the brand out, put it in through like animations. And I know it will only be, like you said, from a 3D standpoint. Unfortunately, we haven't got those files, but I think stuff that you've done there already looks awesome.
Thanks, really appreciate it. Yeah, so unfortunate that we can't get the 3D animations or 3D files, but it looks like we can still do quite a bit with what we have in the 2D space. So just to let everyone know, I've applied for a couple grants, one to put some Twitter banners together, and then one to create educational videos starring Hedgies. Basically, little commercials for DYDX with Hedgies as the main mascot. Think of other brands like Geico or Michelin Man that have really recognizable faces to them, and that's what we're aiming for with these videos for Hedgies. So it sounds like, I know it wasn't officially announced for this week, but it sounds like we are good to move forward with those from what I've heard. So I've begun the work on the Twitter banners. If anyone has any ideas, please feel free to let me know or post in the Hedgie holders chat or Hedgie's general chat on what you'd like to see. Same goes for the videos, the educational videos. Yeah, all ideas are welcome. I'd love to grow this as a community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's going to be really, really good for social awareness and just for sharing on Twitter. And spreading the word out, right? It's definitely one of the things that we want to do moving forward, is have a bit more of a social presence, especially in the crypto Twitter space, and just let the entire NFT community know that we're here, that the Hedgies are here and we're here to stay and grow.
Awesome. Yeah, Mirage, I think the grants anyway in the final review process. So hopefully you'll hear back very, very soon. So that's good news. I guess in terms of like direction then and where we want to take this, obviously Alucard has come up with some ideas on how we can do NFT to NFT collabs, how we can reach out to other Discords, and I guess kind of like try and bring people from there to here, and equally from us to there, just building the community there. Are there any other ideas that anyone's got from a brand development perspective? I know creation of these animations and videos are going to be huge for us, but are there anything else that people are interested in? Anything they want sort of like me and Alucard to have a look at sort of behind the scenes at the moment? I mean, appreciate anyone's thoughts here.
Do you hear me?
Hey, Lingabar,
Yes, sir.
gotcha.
What?
So maybe you remember that I wrote to you and told that projects which had like mint already, they usually do collaboration because they had like, for example, you have, if I'm correct, 5k followers, yeah?
Roughly around that on Twitter, yeah.
Yeah, so you can like do collaborations with little projects and make like your project more popular, because like how I told, projects who had mint already, they still doing collaborations to make their project more popular, so they can make more like followers and fans. So it's more price,
Sure, yeah, I understand that. I think one thing with this is that the foundation actually only have 200 now Hedgies remaining. So I know a lot of these PFP projects that have a good 10,000 releases, I guess they can semi-afford to offer out a few whitelisting spots for collaborations with different NFTs. I think also remember, like, essentially these NFTs are given out to you guys based on your communication and contribution to the whole community at DYDX. So in some ways, we don't essentially want to give too many of those away for whitelisting spots. Like, we do essentially want to reward the people who are already in and around the community for their contributions. So it's a difficult topic. It's something that we definitely are looking to explore. And look, we're open to suggestions there. But I think, having, essentially, 2% of that supply, be it only 200 now, Hedgies remaining, we do want to try and, I guess, focus on our current community and rewarding them for their efforts. That being said, DYDX Trading, they do have some Hedgies at the same time, and they are pushed. I mean, essentially, there is a push to grow that community on Twitter, and equally, that's what we're going to focus on as well, and something that with Alucard here now, who's got experience in growth and NFT projects that way, we're going to really try and utilize, and he'll lead that.
Yeah.
James, what I mean, you don't need to like give whitelists in tweet because you're already popular. Like you have 5k followers, so you can do collaborations, for example, with I don't know, like small project where you give away like 10 whitelist spots in that project, not in yours project. That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. I think right now we're in the works of setting up a couple of Twitter spaces so that we can start doing having conversations with other communities and sort of all be in a joint space. Set up the introductions and then moving on and see what sort of incentives we can get from that community and vice versa, and sort of explore those areas.
Awesome. I will also say that I think a potential someone's submitted a grant right now to have a look at sort of like this why hedgies element of it. And I know I basically briefly touched
cut out there for a second.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes,
okay,
sir.
Perfect. Yeah, so someone submitted a grant, I think, for why hedgies, which you know, it is talking through kind of like, I guess, a lending market for hedgies, like a rental model for lending the hedgies. You know, people can deposit their hedgies in the protocol and get like a Y hedgie in return, like an interest-bearing NFT potentially. Like borrowers can claim hedgies from the protocol, and holding gives borrowers potential access to a fee discount on DYDX, obviously. And then borrowers in return pay a rent back to the protocol, and then this rent's naturally split up among kind of like Y hedgie holders. What's everyone's thoughts about that? That's just it's not confirmed or anything, but it's just something that is out there and it's just worth discussing.
I personally really like that idea. I've seen a lot of very similar models worked in other NFT communities. You have, for example, Nifty League, and what they do, they have that similar model where you rent out your character, and then the character the person that rents out the character, then they can use it to play the game, and then the person that owns the actual character, they get a return out of that. So it's a very similar model to that, and I think it works, and I think it just provides more utility there, at least in my opinion on that. But yeah, love to hear what everybody else thinks on that.
Like in what aspect do you think the utility will be worth renting for in that sense? So like obviously we see that A16Z have rented out Bored Apes, but do we think that right now the brand for one, but also the utility for two, is going to be utilized for renting? I think like if we're thinking about utility, I'm not sure the average trader who, like me, can only afford a small amount of money on the platform will ever utilize or get the benefit from the hedging. And at the same time, if you can afford it, then I feel like they'll just go out and buy one anyway and then just utilize the benefit there.
That's possible. It depends on the specific value proposition and the return that you're seeing, right? I think it can really be I think this gains more value the bigger the hedges community becomes, and the more users we have trading on DYDX, right? Like if we're getting 10 times the volume, and we got more market makers and bigger players, then the limiting supply of the hedges really starts to matter more, and that discount starts to matter more. And I think at that point, that model makes a lot more sense and can actually be worth it for those players.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, due to like hedges amount, so not every trader can pay like 0.7 Ethereum for hedge. Like it's how much? 2K, yes. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think, like you said, the more popular and the more volume runs through, like OpenSea, and the bigger it gets from that standpoint, I think it will be worth it. People are going to want to come in and flex that they've got these pictures. They're some of the most detailed NFTs out there right now. And I think people eventually, when the brand gets bigger, will want to start lending them. I think in order to get the brand bigger, obviously we actually need to do something with them. And I think hopefully this is when the Twitter Spaces, the NFT to NFT collab communities, DAO to DAO AMAs, and just general progression of the hedges, pushing out merch, pushing out Mirash's content there, and just really everyone kind of like piling on to things on Twitter. I think like Alicard made a good point. You know, a lot of these protocols, like they're on Discord, and I know ours is slightly different and it has got a utility there, you know, and people often do try and jump on the bandwagon and try and, you know, get an NFT whitelist spot so they could make a ton of money on it. But as soon as someone posts something like OpenSea, there are a lot of people jumping on and saying, hey, look, check out Hedgie's or check out this project to really push the NFT project up ranks, really.
It's also worth considering that the utility is not only on the fee discount, right? It's definitely as well in, you know, say we do a collaboration with a new project and they're going to give away 30 whitelist spots to the Hedgies, right? Maybe you can rent out a Hedgie and then be a part of that whitelist if that's a project that you're interested in, for example, right? Or maybe there's an in real life event that you are close by from DYDX, and you know, having a Hedgie gets you into that event. So maybe you rent it out just for that amount of time to be able to participate there. So those are definitely other options as well that could add additional value to owning a Hedgie or temporarily owning a Hedgie if you rent it. I think that's a conversation worth exploring for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think actually that you need to do closed Discord for Hedgie holders. You know, right now it's popular, like if you're, for example, Invisible Friends holder, Discord is closed, so sometimes there are giveaways for Invisible Friends holders in Discord. It just for example, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Are you saying just having giveaways within the Discord, right?
Yes.
No, that's definitely something that we can look into doing, especially as a, you know, as we move forward in trying to grow the community.
Yeah, and I think for anyone who wants a Hedgie, I think, like, you know, if you go and read the Commonwealth post on our Hedgie distribution strategy, I think like there's like 9 really achievable things there that you can get out, and you can win a Hedgie for yourself if it's something that you can't afford and you really want, but equally want to contribute to governance and the community. You know, reading those posts and actually just like, for the ones who desperately want one, and just writing them down and really coming up with like 2 things you could do for each of those. It's an easy win, really, especially in these early stages. You know, I mean, just TLDR, there's 205 Hedgies of 200 now that we've got left at the foundation. We've got, out of the whole NFT collection, so out of the whole 4,200 or whatever the number was, we've got probably, I think, around the top 5 rarest Hedgies of them all, and that's just at the foundation. So you've got a really good chance of getting really rare Hedgies here also, and they're sort of low-hanging fruit tasks, some of them. Yes, like to become a delegate is quite a difficult task. It's going to require it's going to require work there. It's going to require, you've got responsibility on you. But if you wanted to just really help the community, really help develop content, really help push things out through Twitter, low-hanging fruit ways to really get your hands on one.
Oh, sorry, cut out there for a sec. And yeah, that's awesome, because that's what we want to do, right? We want to get people involved in the project. We want to get people contributing in any way they can and be rewarded for doing so, right? And sort of growing the community. And in these early stages, that's exactly right. There's a pretty good opportunity that if you contribute in growing the community, you will end up getting a Hedgie as a result for that. So definitely take a look at that. And if you have any ideas, feel free to message me, just ping me in the Discord, and we can look how we can make that happen.
Mirash, I'm curious, just in terms of, like, obviously you've applied for a few grants. I'd just really be interested in hearing sort of what your plans potentially would be. You might not have nothing set in stone yet, but just like an outline of potential intentions that you've got with, if you're successful and you do receive the grant.
Yeah, for sure. So There's two in play right now. One was suggested by another Discord member, and that is to have the Twitter header banners, which is basically an image for each of the 4,200 hedgies, automatically customized based on their properties, backgrounds, clothes, right, etc. So it would be your own image that we could host on the Hedgie's website or elsewhere. That if you own the Hedgie and you're really passionate about them, you really want to show off what you have, then by all means you have another, I don't want to say NFT, but another image that supports the brand of your Hedgie. So for example, for me, it might be something like my Hedgie with logos, some of the key elements, all on a Twitter banner, right? So each of those will be automatically generated based on the properties that they possess. So that's grant number one that I've applied for, and I think that would be really good for showing them off on Twitter. Honestly, they could be shown off elsewhere too. I know Discord has banners if you do have the premium version. And that's just to show your commitment to the brand, showing off the hedgies in general. I think that would be something easy and fun that people can do. Plus, I know a lot of us already have them as PFPs, so it just all goes together and creates some unison in how we present the hedgies. So that's grant number one. Grant number two that I was proposing were educational videos featuring the hedgies. And if you give me a second, I'll pull up the document here, which outlines that. Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Give me a second here. And what I was initially proposing was, what I was initially proposing was 10 videos, educational in nature, about what DYDX is, why it's on a layer 2, why that's important, what are the options you get when you trade on DYDX, why own a Hedgie, what benefits does that get you, how you can contribute, so Discord, Twitter, just being active in governance, what the DYDX token is, so just educational elements of DYDX as a whole, but really using hedgies to highlight those. So again, they're cute, comical, right? Go great in commercial-like videos. And I feel like they would be really beneficial in helping attract new entrants, not only to hedgies themselves, but to DYDX as a whole, right? And those videos could help shape the brand image of DYDX while also teaching people how to use it, and maybe even have some more basic level videos, like showing people how to set up a wallet, showing people how to make their first transaction, right? That kind of thing. So the grant is proposed for initially 10 videos featuring the hedgies, released over a 10-week time frame. So a video a week that we could share, right? And each of those growing on the concepts that are discussed.
I don't know about
Awesome.
everyone there. Yeah, it's super exciting. I think that's going to be honestly game changing, and I think having you involved, who are equally so passionate about the project, and really looking to put your spin on these videos as well as banners is awesome, and I can't wait to see it. So super excited there. Really happy to have you a part of the community, and I'm sure everyone thinks the same as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the other thing for all hedgies holders, we have, make sure you verify in Collab Land and you get access to the hedgies holder channel. But in that channel, feel free to post your Twitter so I can follow everyone, all the hedgies, and we can all sort of follow each other and stay in touch just outside of Discord as well.
Agreed. Great idea. And I guess then that idea, Alicard, kind of potentially will come in with yourself as well, with when you really start to look at pushing out regional content, should I say, and potentially you two could link together as well there to really help drive that.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, we just want to be in touch and sort of unify the community a bit more, make it more personal, so I can know who all the hedgies are, right? And we can all sort of keep up with what's going on, and I want to see what you guys are posting, what hedgies are sort of involved in, right? Because that's only going to help us grow the community more.
And I guess finally, then, just to touch on, if everyone's got a few more minutes, has anyone got any other firm ideas on why hedges has been proposed? Yes, obviously we're putting through all these other utilities there, but is there any ideas from a NFT integration standpoint with the protocol that you think might be appropriate for the long term? Obviously, right now it gives you a fee discount, but are there any other things that you think that projects are doing out there right now that you're interested in, or you think, hey, look, that might be a great addition to where we are?
Hey. Can I please?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think it would be a great idea. Like we have a bonus for traders for.
Kikau.
Oh, sorry. We have rewards for each epoch for traders for best traders, and I suppose that hedges holders might have extra bonus for epoch rewards. Or just like some other epoch rewards that are going to be only for hedges holders that will implement more trading community into our NFT community. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think what it will do is it will drive the big players as well to get a hedgy NFT. So the guys who are taking up the majority of the trading rewards right now, that they're going to be more inclined to potentially pick up a hedgy to increase those rewards even further.
That's it. Like we are involving our trading community into our NFT community, and it's going to be just great. I think.
Yeah, and I can think of kind of a few positive and negatives to that. But look, if anyone thinks that trading rewards and an increase in trading rewards from holding a hedgie is a great idea, yes, you have fee discount as well. But I think put a proposal together. These are something that are reviewed. This why hedgies one is currently being reviewed. So if someone can put a proposal together on Commonwealth, then these things potentially can be integrated.
Yeah, I got a couple of other things. Just for everybody that joined us recently and not at the beginning, we will be starting to give away POAPs for everybody joining us weekly on the Hedgie Huddle. So make sure you show up next week for that as well. And then the other item is there was this idea. Already mentioned this to James, and
I don't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, Alicard.
All right, perfect. The other side of it was we were thinking of the possibility of having a Hedgies online poker tournament. If anybody is interested in that, I don't know how the community would feel about that, but just tossing the idea now and get some feedback. Obviously, the buy-in would be free, but just as a fun activity to get everybody involved in there. So,
yeah,
I think that'd be really fun.
I think that'd be awesome. I think it will get a lot of people coming together. We can hold a chat room like we are now, just have a bit of banter, have a bit of fun, get to know each other a little bit better, and again, just building those relationships and improving that over time. So I think something like this is a great idea, and kudos to Alicard for thinking it. I know he's going to look at setting it up, so I guess stay tuned on that standpoint, and we can go forward there.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll put a little brief info there, and we'll post it and get everybody going on that in the next week or so.
Sweet. All right, guys. Look, we're going to have to call it a day. This half an hour flies by when you chat to Hedgies here. So we'll all keep it at the same time every week. And then, yeah, anything else you want discussed in here, any questions or anything like that, just give anyone a DM here, Ali Card, me, anyone else, and then we can bring it up in this call and yeah, keep razzing on all things hedgies.
James, before we go, have there been any updates about the ambassador program? I know that was announced last week.
Yeah, so essentially the full architecture's there. It's done really from that standpoint. There's just a few things legally that we're just trying to tick off from our end. I'll just give you kind of an overview of what it's going to be anyway for anyone who's interested in applying. We're releasing something called Boroughs, obviously with a hedgy narrative to it. But we've got 6 working groups, so 6 boroughs. One is a, let's say, well, I'll just go through. One's a student borough. So it's for like university delegates that can come in and be a student. This one is unpaid, but they can request funding for certain tasks that they do. We've got an analytics borough. So for any analytics pro and nerd here who really wants to be involved with analytics, they can apply to be in the analytics borough. We've got a media marketing and content borough. We've then got a risk analysis borough, a governance borough, and a user onboarding and education borough. So there's lots of boroughs there. So initially, what's going to happen is people apply to the ambassador program. We're trying to progressively decentralize this. So at the start, it will be pretty centralized in the sense that there is something called a 1 month trial period. Now, this trial period is fully paid. You'll be paid for your time there. And after that trial period, you'll then decide and you'll discuss with the foundation whether you want to become a steward or a leader of that borough. Now, leaders of that borough are expected to dedicate a lot of their time to it. It can be as many hours as you feel you want to. So you may only say, hey, look, I've got 10 hours in my week to provide value here, or this is a full-time gig for me now, I'll take that. Again, you'll be paid hourly for that. It will be competitive, the money in comparison to other NFT Web3 DeFi projects. And also then, additionally to that, you'll then have the chance to come up with proposals to the foundation team on how you can best utilize some funding to do specific tasks. Now, what differentiates that between the grants program? Essentially, we view boroughs as kind of group working. So there's only going to be a very small amount of people in the boroughs initially. So we're probably only going to accept sort of 3 people per borough, and just to start that off. And this is obviously for the month's trial period. It's just a really good time for people to test the water, decide if it's for them. But at the same time, we actually want the people in the trial to become leaders of the borough. And after they've become leaders of the borough, what we're going to do is then decentralize it. And then the leaders of the borough will then be responsible for potentially vetting new applicants to the ambassador program, vetting governance proposals alongside the foundation program, the foundation team, to say, hey, look, yes, we think that this project is worth, I don't know, $10,000. You're going to work with the team in the borough and really look at pushing out value there. So that's kind of like a high level overview there. There are a lot of small things also in the works. So we're going to make it very gated. I've created something on Discord that you can't really see yet, which is kind of just like Boroughs channels. You'll use a group Notion doc, or we're trying to transfer it over to what's called clarity.so, which is kind of like a decentralized working platform. And you'll have gated access via POOPs to join boroughs and things like that. So super exciting, really keen to get it off the ground. I mean, we hope to get it released probably. I'm going to put a post out by next week, so that people can look at it on Commonwealth and ask any questions, and then really look by at an absolute maximum mid-April at getting this off the ground. And as you know, with V4, we want to become fully decentralized. We really view this as like a hybrid model between what we have now, which is a pretty centralized structure from everyone here, to getting people involved in these working groups and having that as kind of like the interim before we become decentralized and a full DAO in that sense. So I hope that's exciting for a few people who are keen to apply. And if you have any other questions, look, I'm more than happy to answer them in the DMs.
That sounds awesome. I can't wait to hear more about that. That's going to be huge for DYDX and for Hedgies.
Yeah, super excited about it. And yeah, you know, anyone here really wants to get involved, I encourage you just to, as soon as it's out, apply, send me a DM or any of the team, and then we can look at trying to get you onboarded. But like I said, very gated initially. There's only going to be 5 real working groups, so 15 people at an absolute maximum, so that we can really figure out who's going to lead the boroughs and how those people are going to really drive growth in that borough over time. And I think we really view these boroughs as the start of something really big eventually, and these working groups will eventually be self-sustaining, self-sufficient, have their own treasury, be managed internally, and really then become a fully independent DAO-like